Hey folks, everything new under the sun. This is kind of a pop-up live video. I'm just gonna wait a second. I want to bring up a document, and I should probably have done this before, but it's about an email that I'd like to talk about. So let's see if I can pull it up here. Let's see, window capture. Hello, Brian. Just trying to bring up pages, actually. I might have to save this out and go to a PDF. Let me see. Export to PDF. It's fine. I just want to talk about what recently happened to me in an email to public health. Let's put this here, save, and we'll go ahead and add, let's see, PDF. Let's pull up a PDF here. PDF. All right. PDF. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay. Let's mute that. That's what I wanted. All right, so let's go there. Let's just hide this for a second here. PDF. Okay. All right. Sorry, got Tank and Cart viewers. Hey guys, I'll have to make a note to skip to minute minute 3, I guess, by the time I start talking here. I want to quickly come on and give you an example of what the government is doing, and it was a personal example, something I've experienced. It's my lived experience, as they say, and I want to talk through it. And it's about COVID. It's about the response to COVID and the response to anything that is outside of the narrative. And so this is another one that's going to get flagged by YouTube. But we are in the last days, and I think all this makes complete sense when you think about what we are moving towards, totalitarian government system, a global government system with a single world leader who is trying to make peace and manage the economy and do all these things and make everything awesome. And it's for conveniently a period of 7 years. So let's take a look at this, and if people can watch it later, and I'll put a time marker on. But this is what I want to look through here. Get rid of Keynote. So this is an email thread. Let's see, where is it? There, here it is. Here. This is an email thread that I had with public health, and I'll just kind of read it as I sent emails to our local public health department via email. And I did that because I wanted to paste a link there about some detail. And I'm not being mean, derogatory, anything. I'm just asking questions. And so where I live, I'm in Canada, East Coast. And my question was, this is my first email. Why isn't natural immunity recognized when it's been shown to be stronger and longer lasting than vaccines? All right, so I didn't send proof along with the first one. So let's see what they responded to here. Okay. Hi, Micah. And they didn't spell my name correctly. I did put my name down there. So Okay. Made a mistake there. This is incorrect, they say. It has been proven repeatedly that the best and most effective way to reduce the case numbers and severity of the virus is being fully vaccinated. Of course, my follow-up question would probably be, well, how many boosters is fully vaccinated? Because I guess it's 3 now, at least in Canada. A previous COVID infection can only grants about as much immunity as one vaccine. Okay, so I went back to the book. So regards, Department of Health and Wellness. Okay, thank you. So I'll go back to the chalkboard and see if I can figure something else out. All right, see what the proof is of that. All right. So here's the second email. Thanks. Appreciate the response. Can you please forward the peer-reviewed scientific study confirming that detail that the government is considering as the current standard related to natural immunity? So that seems like an intelligent question, right? That anybody would ask. For reference, the World Health Organization study on it is here, which appears, in my thinking, it appears to indicate that natural immunity lasts at least as long as 2 vaccines, two doses. And I posted the link, who.int, and you can go to this link and you can read it. Search WHO and natural immunity, and you should come up with this article about this. So I said, not sure if the government is following WHO recommendations or not. Appreciate your clarification. So I'm not being mean. I'm asking some very, very basic questions that you would think reporters might be wanting to ask. I don't know why. I don't know why they aren't. But they certainly aren't. All right, so, okay, what's the response? Well, 28 days later, I say, okay, I didn't hear back on the studies or documentation the government was going on related to natural immunity. If you can please forward those peer-reviewed articles. Now, I assume, the health professionals who are calling the shots here, I assume they have good peer-reviewed data, right? Some background, some study that they're following. So that's a valid question, right? And hello, I see 15 concurrent viewers there. Squirrel Dude, second. PS4, third. Thanks. I said, second, is there a way in which we can get infected on purpose so as to develop some sort of natural immunity, whether subpar or not? So if it's only as good as one vaccine, okay, is there any way we can actually do that? How do you go about contracting the virus without breaking the rules for quarantine contacts? Is there an organized way to do that? And this was an honest question by me. Can I go to the hospital and can I voluntarily sign up for a study and get infected with COVID so that I can gain natural immunity, even if it's only worth one vaccine? Because currently the problem is that it's actually illegal to go out and purposely get sick with COVID. Why? Because if you know someone who has COVID, they are supposed to be quarantining. If they're quarantining, you can't go and see them, because if you go and see them, you'll break the law of the quarantine rules. You'll be fined, they will be fined, and you won't be able, you're not allowed to do it. I'll get in trouble, they will get in trouble, and all of a sudden they'll start contact tracing everybody in my family and everywhere I go and make a big thing about it. So I actually can't legally, on purpose, get infected with COVID. Interesting. All right. So I followed up. Here's the response. All right, awesome. They got my name right this time. I don't know if it's the same person or not. So the question was, what peer-reviewed documentation are you following? Who are you following? What organization? What medical community? Who are you getting your information from? All right. So she says you can, or he, whomever, I don't know who it is. You can find credible data and information from websites of national organizations like Health Canada, National Advisory Committee for Immunization, the Canadian Agency for Drugs and Technologies in Health, Canadian Institute for Health Information, and international organizations like the WHO, the World Health Organization, Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and National Library. What you are asking about in terms of the getting sick on purpose is not an option, and anyone who contracts the virus must isolate for 14 days. I will reiterate that natural immunity does not provide adequate immune response in place of vaccine. Okay, I hear that. So I responded, let's see. So I responded. Let's see. I just want to make this redact this enough. Let's scroll up here. It's further. This is what I want to see. Okay. All right. Here's the next one. So I said thanks. I checked the WHO website and it says available scientific data suggests that in most people, immune responses remain robust and protective against reinfection for at least 6 to 8 months after infection. The longest follow-up with strong, specific, scientific evidence is currently approximately 8 months. So 8 months is the longest they've tested, as of this article. And I linked to the article here. This was the article that I sent prior. So I this time I pasted the actual data. And so I said, remember, down below they said, a credible data source is World Health Organization. Okay. And so that's what I copy and pasted the link to the World Health Organization. Does that particular piece of, from the WHO website, does where I live recognize that particular piece of evidence from the WHO website? Can you clarify why the government does not recognize that WHO PDF, that World Health Organization PDF? I'm looking for an honest answer there. That's an honest question, I think. I'm not asking in a snarky manner. I would like to know, why did they choose against that particular piece? Is the WHO still on the list of valid, credible data? I don't know. This is recent. This person, again, I don't know, male, female, I don't know who it is. This person, they don't even put their name, sent me that, the World Health Organization is a valid source. Okay. So I want to know, well, why aren't they following that? Do they have a good reason? Maybe there's more evidence to suggest that, maybe there's better evidence on the WHO website or some other website that natural immunity isn't as good, right? So maybe they could send me that, right? I'm hoping they'll help me. I'm trying to learn. And I go on, is there a legal method in which I can get infected? It seems as though any method to contract the disease other than happenstance is illegal. And I said, yes, I'm willing to isolate 14 days. I just want a government-confirmed COVID test. And I said that because I want the government to recognize that I got sick so that they can recognize that I have immunity. Now, they're doing this in Germany, by the way. They have a whole bunch of lockdowns in Germany. And basically they are locking every unvaccinated person down, from theaters, from all the non-essential stuff. The only people that can go to those things are those who are fully vaccinated or who have recovered. And that's kind of something that people glaze over about what Germany just did in terms of mandates and restrictions, which they've done in Canada. Pretty much Germany did the exact same thing as we already have in Canada, except in Canada we don't recognize those who have covered and have some sort of natural immunity. In Germany they recognize that. So I want a government test to say that yes, I have it. I'm recovered myself. So that's why I say that. Again, I'm not being snarky. I want to know, and I don't think any of my questions are being snarky or anything. I just want to know who are they following? Are they following the WHO? And so what did they say to that? Well, okay. For this reply, they got my name wrong again. Okay. They got it right the last time. Maybe this was a different person. Maybe this was a supervisor, sending the latest message there. Okay. Anyways, I will repeat what I said previously. This is not an option. You see the bold? I didn't put that there. That's from the email. We will not be responding to these questions any further. This is from the Department of Health and Wellness, who is supposed to be educating me, providing me good information. I'm not annoying them. I don't think I'm asking valid questions. I'm not being snarky. I'm not using swear words or shaking my fist. I'm asking valid questions, and they told me to go look at the WHO website, and I went to look at the WHO website, and it says that natural immunity is an option. It does exist, rather. It does exist. And so I followed up with one last email, which to date they haven't followed up on. Can you please respond to the WHO documentation? I guess they don't like the questions about me getting infected on purpose. that should be, is it not within my own personal rights to go get a cold or go get a flu if I want to? Are they going to drag me to jail if I go get a cold off someone and get infected by some other passing thing? You can't do it with COVID, which is interesting, right? So I say, is there anybody else who can answer the question there? And I've got no response. Crickets. They won't even answer my questions. When a citizen of a province of the country of Canada is asking valid questions, I've went to the websites they've said that have valid information. I've pulled information from there and I said, can you confirm this? If you disagree with this, why do you disagree? Because this is one of the sites you told me to go to. And it's just incredible. We will not be responding to these questions any further. Department of Health and Wellness. That, to me, is the smoking gun. Apparently, the government doesn't want to educate me, doesn't want to give me information, doesn't want to help me locate the correct information. If they are working off some other documentation, it would be nice if they could forward that documentation to me, but they're not. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. I wanted to read that. I wanted to show you the conversation that I had with this person, this government contact from the Department of Health, who is not helping the citizens. In fact, they sort of come back in a snarky manner and say, with bold letters, and I will repeat, and emphatically stating, we will not be responding. What do you mean you won't be responding? That is why you're hired. That's why you have a salary. That's why the government pays you. They literally pay you to respond to my questions about health and wellness. It's astounding to me. I have no words for this. And they wonder why people have trouble believing the government. They wonder why people have trouble taking the government at its word and just going along with what the government is saying. I don't know if everybody caught that from the very beginning. I kind of started at the 3-minute mark. I see a bunch of people on now. But you can comment in the comments and let me know what you think about that. I don't know if you got similar experience talking to your own health professionals and asking questions. You're not allowed to ask questions, and that's the incredible thing in this day and age. You're not allowed to ask questions. And if a question was about a cold, I'm sure they would say, well, we would not recommend you go get a cold, but you're certainly within your rights to do so. But of course they won't say that here, will they? It's incredible, just incredible. And the fact that it's absolutely illegal. I haven't found a loophole yet to actually get infected by it, so that I can control the timing of it, so that I can control the exposure. They don't want to control it or manage exposure. It's just zero COVID, nothing else. That's all they accept. And that is unacceptable to me, to my way of thinking. That's unacceptable to a lot of people, but not enough. People in Canada are voting for lockdowns and mandates and vax passes. They're literally voting for this. The national election effectively was over this. And what did people vote for? They voted for safety. What do people want in these last days? They just want safety. They want to live fat, dumb, and happy. They want to go back to the way it was. They think vaccinating will help and is the only way out. And the WHO has already said the countries cannot vaccinate their way out of the pandemic. Tedros, the leader, president, governor, the general, whatever, of the World Health Organization, said countries cannot vaccinate themselves out of the pandemic. Now, is it a good option? Sure. Is it excellent and should vulnerable people get it? Absolutely. Should they have it available for everybody? Absolutely. If you want to get it, go get it. Should there be a choice? Absolutely. If I wasn't coerced and pressured into this, I might be getting it. If this was like any other vaccine. And I've had all the vaccines. I'm tapping my shoulder here. I've had all the vaccines. When I was a kid, I had all of them growing up. That was just you had your little yellow card. You got marked off for what vaccines you had. Some kids were vaccinated, some kids weren't, and that was fine. If you were vaccinated, you were safe, right? The unvaccinated, well, they can be unsafe by themselves, but they're not going to harm you because you're vaccinated, right? Not so, not so with COVID. You get vaccinated, you can still get infected, you can still spread it. And here's the question that I want to ask each of you, and you can let me know what you think again in the comments there. Think about this. If you're not vaccinated and you get COVID, you're going to be symptomatic, right? You're going to be symptomatic pretty quick. Your body hasn't seen this virus before. You're going to have some pretty significant symptoms. You may feel like you're going to die. That's some of the comments I heard from some of the people on YouTube who've had it. They felt like that was it for them. Some of them had a really rough go of it and a high virus load. But you're going to get in bed. You're going to stop work right away. As soon as you feel a little bit sick, you're going to stop work right away. You're going to be in bed. You're going to be taking a day off work because it's going to hit you so hard. Look at it from the other side, though. What if you're vaccinated? You're vaccinated. You have fewer symptoms. Maybe you're asymptomatic. You aren't showing symptoms. You have much less severe sickness. So you decide, well, I can go out in public. I'm vaccinated. I feel fine. I don't feel bad enough not to go to work. I'm vaccinated, and the vaccine has helped me not to get seriously sick. So I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to do this and do that. Go to the theater because I'm allowed to because I have a Vax Pass. Meanwhile, they're still shedding the virus. So they're still out and about because they're not laid back in their bed sick from COVID, spreading the virus. I submit to you, and you let me know logically if this makes any sense, that a vaccinated individual, potentially, I think logically, I can't see a different way to see it, a vaccinated individual ends up being more dangerous to the public than the unvaccinated. The unvaccinated is going to be lying on his back in his bed, sick as a dog, with symptoms. The vaccinated is going to be out and about, asymptomatic, showing little symptoms, not large amounts of symptoms, sniffles, and still spreading the virus. It's well known. It's common knowledge now. If a vaccinated person gets COVID, they're going to be able to spread it. They're going to be able to get COVID, and they do spread it. Now they say, well, lower virus loads, lower virus counts. Okay, but they can still get it and spread it, and they're out there walking around asymptomatically getting it and spreading it, while those who get it get sick very quickly and are in bed flat on their backs until they get better. So I'd like to hear the opposite side to that. If you guys don't believe that's true or not, honestly, I'd like to see the difference there. So there you go. You can let me know in the comments there what you think is the actual outcome. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to get vaccinated. I think it's great. I think the worst thing about this is the government coercion to get it, the lockdowns, the mandates, the loss of rights, and the fact that they're forcing me to basically have some medical thing done to me, really against my will, and maybe not in the interest of me, but they say in the interest of civilization as a whole. Meanwhile, the WHO is coming out and saying countries cannot vaccinate their way out of this. All right, I'll read some of the comments. I see Pete there. Hello. Mike Jones says the sky is falling. I think it will start falling. I think we're getting very close to that time. Let's see. Pete says, nobody caught COVID around here until one person went and got the vaccine. Then everybody all of a sudden got it days after. So yeah, you have these stories coming out about these sorts of things, and you don't know what the truth is because nothing was tested at the time, etc. Stephen Wilder says, hi Mike, I just got home and see your live stream. Need your insight. I'm going to store a solar generator in a Faraday cage. It only fits on its side. What's the question? These are lithium ion phosphates, so they should be safe stored. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're safe sideways. Sealed lead acid is technically safe sideways, especially if you're not using it. Shouldn't be any problem. Sealed lead acid would just have the liquid, you know, it wouldn't be even across the lead plates. The electrolyte wouldn't be even across the lead plates, but you'd just stand it up right side up when you want to actually use it. So for a lithium ion, yep, it doesn't matter. That's you don't have to quote me on that, but I believe that to be the case. Patrick says it's interesting how the head who person Tedros has said how the unvaccinated are the problem. They are doing a good job at dividing. Yeah, so that's what they do. They villainize the unvaccinated. What a great setup for Christians, right? I think when the mark of the beast comes in, it's going to be a situation where there's a health crisis. I think it's going to be a health crisis. I don't know if it's going to be a COVID or another COVID variant, but I truly believe at this point a health crisis seems to work and it's perfect for this sort of thing. And they're going to say, you know what, all you Christians, you don't want to take the mark of the beast. You're not loving people, and they're going to pit the vaccinated against the unvaccinated, or I should back up and say those who have accepted the mark against those who have not accepted the mark, if it is a health emergency. I should be clear about that. It may not be, about vaccinations, but by the way, to clarify, I don't think this is the mark of the beast at all. The mark of the beast requires worship of a beast, and some people say, well, that means obeying. But there's also the buying and selling component. So you have that, and some people say, well, with COVID, you can't buy and sell. Well, we can still buy and sell still. It hasn't got to the point where we can't buy and sell anything, and I think that's what the Bible is speaking of. I can't go to a theater. I can't play hockey. Those are considered non-essential, but I can go to the grocery store. So we're not there on that point either. The other thing is that there's going to be something in your right hand or your forehead, and we're definitely not there yet. Although I do have an interesting article, I think it's out of Sweden, that I may bring up later about that. Let me just see if I can. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Let's see. Yes, this is interesting about Sweden. About that. Let's see. Oh, I've got to find it here. And it actually is talking about a chip, a microchip. Let's give me a second here. I'll see if I can find it. Yes, here it is. So this is LifeSite News. Let's see. Pull this up. LifeSite News. There we go. So this is LifeSite News, and the article says Swedish biohacker promotes implanted microchip for passports in your hand. You can see the title there. So this is interesting. And, what a great way for the world to go. When the world sees this, when Tedros of the World Health Organization sees this, and he thinks, boy, that's a great idea, or whatever up-and-coming leader there is, they're going to say, boy, what a great idea this is. Why don't we implement this across the world? And we would have tracking and government databases worldwide about vaccination status. Wouldn't that be a great idea? An implanted chip could be accessed from a cell phone to pull up EU digital certificates. Interesting. A Swedish biohacker and advocate for human augmentation is promoting the use of microchip implants in the hand to record the certificate status. So instead of QR codes on your cell phone, maybe you forget your cell phone at home, maybe you don't have one, like me. I don't have a cell phone that I carry on my person all the time. I basically have a burner phone right now, which is effectively a throwaway, which doesn't even work where we live because there's no cell phone signal where we live. But I only use it for two-factor authentication because the way the world is going, to authenticate for Google services, etc., you need two-factor authentication. You need a cell phone for that. They require a cell phone number. Actually, Twitter requires a cell phone number to actually sign up. But some people don't have cell phones. You think of a lot of poor people in the world don't have cell phones. So what is the cheaper way to do it? Well, you get your certificate in a chip in your hand, or elsewhere under the skin. Okay, maybe in the forehead, maybe under the skin of the forehead. A little chip, a little microchip like that is seen in the image there. Could work well in the forehead, wouldn't that be a good way to track it? It's I was not wanting to talk about this combination. I'm gonna get banned from YouTube again, because this is exactly what the algorithms are going after. Anyone who compares this to that, but I think it's getting more clear every day. This emergency, or an emergency like it, will be used to ultimately get everyone to get something in their right hand or forehead, what we know prophetically as the mark of the beast. So Hans Sjöblad, a co-founder of Bionifican, a Swedish association for biohackers, and chief disruption officer, I think that's an interesting name for him, at Epicenter Stockholm, demonstrated to Aftonbladet how, by simply placing his cell phone against his forearm, that he was able to pull up his digital certificate on his phone. Interesting. So he's been promoting implants for years. Anyways, it's just fascinating. I was going to do a whole video about that, but that's something to think about. Certainly in these last days, about where this is all going and what sort of crisis could the world bring upon, or the government rather, bring upon the world, where they would be coerced, convinced to take the mark of the beast, to the point where people will be ridiculing and even getting angry and even killing Christians who don't accept what the government is saying. And what will they do? They'll blame the Christians. You don't love others if you don't do this. You don't care for others. What God is it you serve, who isn't willing to lay down their life by getting this mark in your right hand or forehead for others? What sort of God would not have you save civilization by taking this and getting what you're supposed to? Anyways, incredible. Brian says, I had a sore throat and coughing and a slight headache. It could be Omicron. I don't know. As far as the conversation you're having, this new variant, although more easily susceptible, is much weaker than the previous strains. So they need for these mandates. Is self-evident. I think it's more transmissible. That's what's coming out about this new one. But it seems to be less severe. So we'll see. We'll see what's right about this. Stephen says, it's not for the protection of citizens, it's for the furthering of their globalist agenda. It's hard to disagree that there is something going on. And I still believe that the world governments they're not all meeting. They're not a cabal. They're not all meeting in the same room saying, this is what we're going to do to control the people. I still think it's the unseen guiding hand of Satan, if you will, as I describe it, which is moving all leaders in this direction, kind of like the Tower of Babel, bringing everybody together. Bringing everybody together to do the same thing. Let's see, if the vaccine advocates are wrong about saying it's safe, then it will cost them their lives. But if I am wrong about choosing to not take the vaccine, then nothing changes for me. Very true. So, folks, I'll leave it there. I don't want to take this too long, but I hope you found that interesting about the email that I sent to the health department. The fact that they would not answer my questions, and I am doing it in an honest, I'm not causing trouble. I just want answers, and they are unwilling. So if at this level they are unwilling to give me any answers, you got to ask the question, what is it they're doing? Do they even know what they're doing? At this point, I don't understand it. I'm losing faith very, very quickly in any sort of government control or action at this time. And that's just my personal opinion. I have nothing wrong with the vaccine in and of itself. Is it 100% foolproof? No. Does it help severe illness? I'm sure it does. No problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I think the vaccine is probably okay generally. Should the government be forcing it on everybody? No. And this is where it's got to stop. I don't think it stops. I don't think it stops from here on in. I think this gets worse from here. So we'll see how it goes. Folks, the Lord is returning. He died and rose again on a cross about 2,000 years ago. He died for the sin of mankind, for my sin and your sin. He's coming back soon. And when he does come, first of all, he's coming to rapture us, to take us out of here at some point. And then we'll be at the marriage supper of the Lamb. And then we're going to come back with him as his prize, as his reward when he comes back to deal with people that are left in this world after the wrath occurs in the second half of the 7-year period. So be prepared. You don't want to stick around any longer than you need to. Know Jesus Christ today. Ask him into your heart. He died for you, and he rose again about 2,000 years ago. Thanks, guys. I'll leave there, and we'll see you in the next video.